Hey gang, this is Vicky Kelly with the Golden Rule Trades. I'm going to go over a couple things today. We are still so volatile that our normal system is just way too much risk to trade. So what I did is I figured out how we would do if we traded one micro with a 20-point stop. Okay, now this is not the one that I've put so much time into. So this is an experiment to see if it allows us to navigate this. So I'm not using it on anything that can actually blow up my account. I'll use them on my trader funding evaluation accounts, uh, but I'm not going to use it on anything that's going to make a difference in whether or not I am married when we're done with all this. Okay, I would suggest that you do the same. Make sure that whatever you're doing will not blow up your account or any significant relationship that you have. So let's talk about this today. And in the process, we'll be able to learn a little bit more about the system. So our first setup after the market opened with the regular session was here. And if you would have entered with, again, one micro 20-point stop, you could have entered here because it broke down past the breakout level. But remember what I said yesterday, the market loves to come back and test this breakout line. So especially with it being so volatile, it probably would have been a good idea to hold on to that and not do it. But maybe you did. If you did, you would have taken the stop out of $100 and then it would have come down and gone the correct direction, only to bounce back in your face. And if you would have re-entered, because sometimes we can re-enter at this second line as well, you would have taken another stop out. Remember, 3 strikes, you're out. So you have to be very careful about when you hop in. But again, I don't want to assume we wouldn't have taken those. And so I'm chalking that up for what would have happened today. But I want to talk about an important thing to understand with our system. A stop loss is not being wrong. Stop loss is what we use in order to keep our account from too much risk, from losing too much. It does not mean that you're wrong about the direction. With this system, how do you know that you're wrong about the direction? You don't know for sure until it comes and it closes above that line. That's when you know that you are wrong. Every once in a while, they'll bring it up just, a tick or two right above this line. But when it goes above this line more than just that little tick or two when they're trying to get everybody's stops, then you know that you've picked the wrong direction or that the move is over. Maybe it went a little bit in your direction and then went sailing off the other way. So as you can see, this went the direction that we thought it would. All this is a violent retracement back in your face. That is not an indication that you have picked a wrong direction. And because it did not breach this area here. So again, this is why we have to make sure that our stops are wide enough that we can handle those kind of moves. So it comes back down. And this here, just doji on this line is a really good indication it's going to continue on down. And we could have captured that particular move. Now remember, we were already the 2 stops out. And then we would have been able to capture this and make about $170. So if we caught all of that, we would have been able to do that and we would have still been negative on the day, but have made a little bit of our money back. Okay, now the next setup is right here. Okay, it very well could have been here, probably was a little bit more. likely, because remember, it loves to do a return move, which is what it did here. But let me show you another possibility that we might have seen while we were setting up. Oh, and I want to redraw our initial lines for just a second to show this to you. I'm not trying to confuse you, but I want you to see how powerful these breakout lines are. We talked about this yesterday. The market loves to come back up to this breakout level. If you notice what it did, it got to this breakout level, could not get past it, drops back down with a huge tail, a huge wick on this candle. And that is your indication that this move is likely over and that we need to start looking the other direction. Again, it could have been that we got our lines a little too high. They could have been down here or here. We talk about this in the course, about the art and the science of this and how we protect ourselves all the way up so we don't take a huge loss if we miss it by a tick or two. But this was definitely the sign that this was over because it could not go up past this breakout line here and turned around in a very violent fashion. So that was what said this move is over. I usually like for it to come a little further into this box before I call it over, but this time I was not going to do that because it was obvious it could not get back through the breakout line. So then I began to look for a move down, which was like this. And as you can see, we would have had here our entry. Let me draw that for you. Because we would have closed below our breakout line, we would have entered here. We would have been able to capture to our target level, and everybody gets to go to Disney. So all totaled, if I were able to capture all of this move, actually would have ended up positive for the day, again on 1 micro and a 20-point stop. Positive for $285 if I had been able to capture all of that. Full disclosure, I did more than that in most of my accounts, but I also scalped a little bit on the way down. So I hope that you are keeping safe out there. I know it's easy to get bored, it's easy to get antsy, impatient, but the market will give us something that will fit more the size of our accounts. And again, this seems to be working with 1 micro and a 20-point stop, at least it did today. We'll continue that until the energy lines get closer together. And so I just please stay safe out there. We will have plenty of time to trade, and good luck trading.